it's Jen from Fabulous Paper Emporium. Have another card for you today. And again, it's part of our series with the Card Making 101. So again, it's going to be pretty basic. But as we move forward, and as I explained before in my previous video, is as we progress, I will show you ways that you can kind of add to each of these card styles to kind of make them a little bit extra, so that you're adding more techniques or more tools that you've learned throughout this card making tutorials, throughout all of them, that you'll be able to just combine and kind of make beautiful cards. Not that these aren't beautiful, but like I said, I mean, here we're really letting the paper kind of do all the talking. So hopefully you're enjoying it and making cards with your newfound skills. If you at all, anytime, I can't emphasize this enough, if you have any questions, if you're uncertain about something, if I've talked about something but haven't maybe explained it well enough, anything, just, you can put a comment below. I get notified whenever there's a comment, so I try to reply as quickly as possible. You can also email us. You can find us on Facebook, send me a message that way, any one of those things. But if you do finish a project, if you use one of my tutorials and complete a card, please, you can find us on Facebook. Please share your project. We'd love to see it. There's a lot of other, like-minded people on our Facebook page that, share their projects. So we absolutely love to see them. Anyhow, getting back to the card at hand. This is a Z fold or a Z fold, depending on which part of the world you're from. So, and the reason for it, I've already gone and cut and scored this, is if you flip it kind of upside down, then that's not how it stands, but that's how it is. This is how the card is actually going to stand. So anyhow, so as I explained before, we are just working with the A2 card bases. So this again is going to be, this piece is 11 by 4 1/4. So we can get 2 cards out of this, out of the one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. We do have one other piece that is also the same color. And this one, it's kind of up to you. You're going to have to use some of your creative authority, I guess, on this. And I'll come to this piece in just a second. And the reason being is I want to go over the first layer. Because again, this is the week where we're kind of focusing on layering and scoring and, how to kind of do those fun folds that you may or may not have seen. So with our first layer, we've again gone with the dark blue. And we're going to need, well, I've cut myself out 3. So we're going to do one panel here, and this one is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. You can, this is a card that really does allow for a little bit more options when it comes to where you want your sentiment to go. So, and this is why I'm going to be doing a little bit more explaining. There is going to be a panel on the front that we're going to do a layer for. And this one is cut at 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. Sorry, by 2 1/2 by 4. Sorry, I was kind of jumping ahead. And this panel would be cut the same. So here's where your decision, your how you prefer to make things kind of comes into play. So I shouldn't say as a rule, because there really are not a lot of rules when it comes to card making, because it basically is up to you. What I prefer to do in this Z fold is, because this panel is essentially hidden when you close the card and when you display it, that is where I like to put my sentiment, or I put it on the back, is where I do my message and my writing. because sometimes it's a little bit more personal. You may not want to have everybody read it. So depending on who I'm sending it to, I kind of, that's where I decide where I'm going to be putting my sentiment. You can, obviously here is a beautiful, nice space. You can absolutely do it there, but just keep in mind that your sentiment is going to be visible when you close it, unless you keep it to this side and perhaps do some designer paper down here, which you could easily do by taking one of these panels and cutting an extra one and having it applied there. It's totally possible, but how we're doing it right now for this purpose is I'm going to assume that we're doing it on this. So going back to the beginning-ish, rewinding a little bit, you're going to cut 2 pieces to go on either side of this panel. These are both 2.5 by 4. So those are going to lay there. Now here's where this piece comes in. This is where we're going to write our little message. Obviously it has to be little if you're writing it here. And this piece is going to go on the inside for my card. But like I said, you know, as you grow as a card maker, you're going to be able to make, you know, these decisions for yourself and how you would prefer to have it laid out. So there's this piece, which is 2.25 by 3 3/4. This is the same exact size. We're going to put that one on the front. And then this one is going to layer on the inside, kind of, half inside. And this one is cut at 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so now it's just a matter of assembly. Oh, sorry, I didn't go through the scoring marks. I just realized. So the score marks for this one, okay, we've got 2. The first one is 2 3/4, and the second one is 5.5. So of course we've got our 11-inch side is across the top. So 2 3/4, 5.5, and then you're going to, as you have your paper folded, this is what I do, is I'm going to fold at 5.5. So you're folding it in half, again, making sure that your edges all line up nice and neatly. And we're going to burnish. And then this basically is just flipping it back on itself. And then we fold and burnish. So that is how this card is basically created. And there's a lot of different things that you can do with this card base now, but again, we will get to that in a minute. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lay out my card base. I like to kind of position these so you're not kind of picking from a pile and, you know, perhaps accidentally going to put something in the wrong location. So I'm going to first do my first layers off the card base. If you were doing any stamping, if you had a sentiment, even if you were writing, if you want to do that before you put your layers on the actual card base, that is sometimes a preferred method of doing things. This way, if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. All you do is either flip it over, write another message, cut yourself another little piece, whatever the situation calls for. So I did that. I'm going to apply some more glue to the back. And then, like we've done before, is just gently kind of maneuver this where you need to have it placed. And we have that now firmly stuck to the base. I'm going to take, because I'm, again, not sure who this is going to go to, but it's always kind of nice to have, you know, cards in your stash. So, so that when you do need to, you know, have maybe it's a last minute kind of card that you are needing, you've got a pile in your stash, and this would work for a number of different occasions. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups now. This would work for a number of different occasions. You could use it, I mean, so long as I guess they like Alice in Wonderland, I suppose. You know, then you could use this for a birthday. You could use it for, you know, just a thank you card, a hello card, you know, any number of different occasions. A just because card. You know, there's certainly not enough just because cards out there, that's for sure. Because we get, you know, into kind of the email, the text. So, I mean, when's the last time you received a card? Well, it's probably maybe Christmas, or, you know, if you celebrate there's another celebration, you know, perhaps that was the last time you received a card. Or maybe it was Valentine's Day, which we just had. So, you know, sometimes it's nice to get the non-bills in the mail. Sometimes works too. So as I'm applying these, I am trying my best from my vantage point, which is not the best. I'm just trying to line these up as we apply them. Same thing with these. So if you prefer to apply them directly, layer by layer, and this way you can be, you know, as certain as possible to get everything in line, then that is certainly something that you can do. So like I said, if you wanted to, you could also write, you have all this real estate to write a message as well. And if you did that, you could replace this panel with another one of the designer papers. That is definitely an option. The other option, if you wanted to kind of fancy this up and add a little bit of decoration, like what I did in this card, where I accidentally cut this paper in the wrong size. So I had to slice some off. So what I did was I used what I had sliced off, which is only about 1/4 of an inch. I put that on the inside of the card, just to add a little bit of interest. So you could easily, off of one of the designer papers that you used here, you could easily do 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, apply it to the bottom as, you know, just a little bit away from the edge, apply it to the side, whatever you would prefer to do. So that is also something that you can do. You can do that to this panel as well. But being that this panel is already pretty small, if you're using this one, I feel like you want to have all the real estate you could possibly get. So this again is called the Z or Z fold card. Super easy. In the description below, we'll have all of our measurements that we've used today, and hopefully you like it. Hopefully you found this tutorial useful in some way, shape, or form. And if you have, please give me a big old thumbs up. That really helps with the whole YouTube analytics thing. And if you haven't already subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe, hit the bell as well, so you don't miss any future videos, because we're going to be coming back at you with a lot more. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you have a fantastic day. Stay safe, stay well. Bye.